This commentary is not about the candidate or candidates. It's about the issues. Hillary Clinton is now saying, elect me president and I'll tell you where I stand on an issue. Yet climate change is supposed to be this big thing that is not only confronting the United States, but the globe. What it boils down to is that Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton are running two very different campaigns for what they want to do, and that's lead the country. It shows in almost everything they do. Remember, it's about the issues and the answers. It's not about the candidates. This is not a Hillary bashing session. These are facts. On Wednesday, Bernie Sanders volunteers will be hosting 3,000 grassroots gatherings in all 50 states across America. Supporters are going to be meeting in homes, coffee shops, union halls, in an effort to spread the campaign's message. So far, over 100,000 people plan to attend, and the numbers are growing. Bernie Sanders is out speaking to massive crowds all over the country. And the experts are trying to figure out, what is this? Senator Sanders is consistently doing interviews on national television. He's talking to the people and he's answering the questions, anything that's thrown his way. On the flip side, Hillary Clinton has been holding mostly these smaller meet and greet type events, and she says she wants to hear what voters have to say on the issues. She's given a very few policy speeches, no doubt about it. Clinton has given only one national television interview since she's announced her campaign, and she's gone so far as to say she's not running her campaign for the media. And then, of course, there's the money. Bernie Sanders has raised $15.2 million. He has no super PAC supporting his campaign. Hillary Clinton has raised $47.5 million. Her super PACs have raised $15.6 million. Now, her total fundraising tops $63 million. Today, we learned one of Hillary Clinton's super PACs is now sending trackers to monitor Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley. Now, the organization is Correct the Record. Their trackers have been spotted at a number of campaign events. Super PACs are not legally allowed to coordinate with campaigns. And we got to point out that trackers on the campaign trail, they're nothing new. Correct the Record released a statement saying we're doing our due diligence and we'd expect others to do the same. Both Sanders and O'Malley campaigns have not deployed trackers. Now, this is the first time trackers have been deployed in the 2016 Democratic primary. It certainly means that these super PACs view Sanders as a viable candidate. These trackers won't hear anything out of the ordinary at Sanders' campaign events, no doubt.
What this campaign is about is saying that our great country and our government belong to all of the people and not a handful of billionaires. Today, we live in a nation which has more income and more wealth inequality than any other major country on earth. That is not acceptable, and together we are going to change that.
So where are all the negative comments coming from Bernie Sanders towards Hillary Clinton? They don't exist. Sanders is running a positive campaign. He's never run a negative ad in his life. In his political life, he's never run a negative ad against another candidate. Sanders does correctly criticize Hillary Clinton on issues and point out the differences. He's gone after Clinton for not taking a position on the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Sanders has criticized Hillary Clinton on her cozy relationship with Wall Street. He's gone after Clinton's non-position on the Keystone XL pipeline. And earlier today, Hillary Clinton again refused to answer a question on the Keystone XL pipeline.
As president, would you sign a bill, yes or no, please, in favor of allowing the Keystone XL pipeline?
Well, as you know, I was the Secretary of State who started that process. I was the one who put into place the investigation. I have now passed it off as obvious, because I'm no longer there, to Secretary Kerry. This is President Obama's decision, and I am not going to second guess him because I was in a position to set this in motion, and I do not think that would be the right thing to do. So I want to wait and see what he and Secretary Kerry decide. If it's undecided when I become president, I will answer your question.
So if you vote for Hillary, she'll tell you where she stands on a huge issue when it comes to bringing tar sands oil to the climate, which is the most toxic oil that is going to be coming out of the ground on the face of the earth. Sanders responded to Clinton's refusal to take a position on Keystone today. He released a statement saying, "It is hard for me to understand how one can be concerned about climate change but not vigorously oppose the Keystone pipeline." Sanders has repeatedly said he's against the pipeline. The difference between these two Democratic candidates, to me, seems to be pretty clear. It's up to the voters to make the choice. It's up to those folks out there in the liberal community who know the Republicans are climate deniers. Do they want to send somebody to the White House and support a candidate who isn't quite ready to give an answer on Keystone because of process? What? To me, that is just unacceptable. Hillary Clinton is walking into an issue that she doesn't need to walk into. People want direct answers on this issue. This plays right to the trustworthiness of the polls. It also plays right to whether Hillary is connecting with the people that she's trying to get to vote for. She's not connecting with the people. That has nothing to do with whether she was Secretary of State. Has nothing to do with process. You either believe that the tar sands oil is bad or you think it's not bad. Is this a play to Wall Street? Yes, it is. Is this a play to the big oil companies? Yes, it is. Let's call it what it is. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question, do you want to know where Hillary Clinton stands on the Keystone XL pipeline? Go to pulse.msnbc.com/ed to cast your vote. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. Remember, it's about the issues. This is an issue. Climate change is supposed to be the issue of our time. The Keystone XL pipeline, you could say, well, we can't do it in trucks, we can't do it in trains, we can't do it in pipelines. Okay, but do we want to put a pipeline over the Olagala Aquifer? Do we want to take that risk? Do we want to bring tar sands oil that's going to just put money in the Koch brothers' pockets? Is this good policy? And she can't give an answer and then stands at a town hall meeting and says, well, you elect me president, I'll tell you where I stand on something. I have never heard a candidate ever talk like that. That's what makes this campaign so unique. It's about absolutes. And Hillary Clinton cannot give us an absolute when all the people out there who are working on climate change know exactly what the answer is. For more, let me bring in Mike Papantonio, Ring of Fire radio host, Larry Cohen, former president of the Communications Workers of America. Gentlemen, good to have you with us tonight. Hillary Clinton says that she wants to go around the country and listen to what the voters are saying. I'm starting to wonder, is she listening to what the people are asking? She has to know that this question isn't going to go away. This is the second day in a row this question has come up. So if she's listening to the people, she must be listening to the questions. Certainly she has to anticipate. And I want to point out this is the third different answer that she's given on Keystone. The first one was that she thought that Keystone was part of a much broader energy package that they needed to discuss with Canada. That was her first position. Her next position was that, well, she was Secretary of State and she doesn't want to get involved in the process. And now she's saying, well, you elect me president and I'll tell you what my answer is going to be. Larry Cohen, how can the left embrace answers like this in positions like this? A very direct question. How can those who are concerned about climate change embrace this?
We can't. I mean, these non-answers, whether it was on fast track, as you said, or now on Keystone XL pipeline, they're unacceptable. And this kind of triangulation, people are fed up with it. And that's why tomorrow there's 3,000 House visits for Bernie Sanders, and you can still sign up at berniesanders.com. People are fed up with business as usual, and they want to vote for their beliefs and their values, and that's the campaign we're building.
Mike Papantonio, does it matter if Hillary Clinton started a process that the State Department, I don't even know if that's true or not, because they've been talking about Keystone, I thought, for a decade. But anyway, does it matter that what she used to do as to be where she is right now?
She comments about things that she used to do all the time. Look, the Democratic talking heads may not think this is a problem, but you know what they should do? They should go to social media. This story blew up just on Ring of Fire. The numbers were startling. when they want an answer, and what they want is the same kind of yes or no answer that Bernie Sanders gives. You know, at this point, one of the best things Hillary can do is try to hijack Bernie's message of populism uprising. And you do that by being truthful and straightforward. But truthfully, it's not easily done with the long history that she has in politics. It's extremely difficult to simply make a convincing brand change in a matter of months. But one way you begin is being direct, being not equivocal, being deliberate about who you are and what you stand for. Bernie's message is resonating with Americans because he wants to rebuild the middle class. He wants to bring jobs back to America. He wants to bring manufacturing back to America. He wants to save Social Security and Medicare from Wall Street. He wants to reverse environmental catastrophe. He's direct. He doesn't, there's nothing equivocal in what he says. And if you look at the numbers, Ed, it is startling that this flaw that Hillary's advisors are not helping her with is very much a negative for Hillary.
Well, it would seem to me that if she were to do more national interviews, she'd be having to answer this question and be put in an untenable position. I mean, is this a Wall Street play? She knows she's going to get a lot of money out of Wall Street. She don't want to infuriate them. Is this a big oil play? She doesn't want to become a target of the big oil companies and just wants to be out there satisfying everybody. Can you have it both ways, Larry Cohen?
You can't have it both ways. I think that's the problem, trying to be neutral on things so that you can just say to people, look, I'm going to get elected, so I'm not going to take positions on these things. And I think, as we just heard with Bernie, you know, we come right out and say this is what we stand for. No to the pipeline. But on the other hand, $1 trillion to build infrastructure, including all kinds of pipelines across America. Let's put people back to work, but no to the pipeline and no to tar sands.
Here's the interesting thing about Hillary's non-answer. There are people in Congress who are for Keystone. It's not like she's going to be going out on an island if she says, yes, I think we should build it. She would get support from some Canadians. She would get support from some Canadian elected officials, the Prime Minister. She would get bipartisan support. There are some Democrats who were in favor of Keystone. So, Mike, why won't she take a position and say yes or no?
When you've been running for president since you were 12 years old, it's tough. You have a past history. And more importantly, her allegiance to Wall Street, the hedge fund sources that are in a frenzy to fund her campaign. She has allegiance there. You can't become a legitimate populist candidate overnight with that kind of history merely by saying you're a populist. You have to make a decision now. Hillary has to make a decision now. It's not 1 foot in and 1 foot out. What she doesn't understand is Bernie Sanders has a lot of time to build this political movement that he's talking about. He says, I'm not just running for president. I'm building a political movement. She's missing that. The D.C. Beltway insiders miss that. If you listen to the talk shows, they miss that. While Bernie's trying to create this political and social sea change in America, Hillary, on the other hand, is forced to tie her wagons to the status quo because it's the status quo that put her there.
The environmental community in this country is going to have to justify why they're supporting Hillary Clinton if they don't get a straight answer. That's the next chapter of this story. It's very puzzling. Mike Papantonio, Larry Cohen, great to have you with us tonight. Appreciate your time.